So the interests of unions are not opposed to environmental protections. The interests of employers are opposed to environmental protections, and they're also opposed to labor protections. I learned about global warming in 1989 when I was in 8th grade, right? It was called the greenhouse effect. We've known about it my whole entire adult life, and we've not done enough to address it. And it's starting to get to the point where we're going to reach a tipping point if we don't act immediately. But also, we see the rise of authoritarian governments and kind of declining faith in democracy around the world. And that's because of the rising income inequality. People have lost faith in their governments because their governments are not helping to create fair societies and shared prosperity. So the Green New Deal sees these two things as integrated and problems that need to be solved immediately, lest we end up with a burning hot world that's run by dictators. If you go back in history and look at different points where there were massive transitions, it was really workers coming together and organizing collectively that were able to make positive changes for working people. And I think the Green New Deal presents an opportunity for us to solve the climate crisis in a way that's going to improve the future of work. The labor movement is seen by many as the precursor to the modern environmental movement, right? It was really unions in the 1940s and 1950s that were thinking about issues of workplace health and safety and exposure to toxins in the workplace. So the United Steelworkers at that time said, look, we need to have not only protections in the workplace, but we need to think about how this impacts the broader environment that we live in surrounding the workplace. So labor movement was actually one of the bigger supporters of the original Clean Air Act, which created the Environmental Protection Agency. Tony Mazzocchi, who was a health and safety activist and a member of the Oil, Chemical, and Atomic Workers Union, really developed this idea of what he called a super fund for workers. And his union was responsible for making atomic weapons. And he knew that atomic weapons are dangerous and going to destroy the world. So the idea is we need to eliminate the jobs that our workers are doing because we don't want to create the weapons that are going to destroy the world. But at the same time, we need to think about how we're going to protect those workers. So he has a famous quote where he said, we have a super fund for dirt. Why don't we have a super fund for workers? And that's really kind of the seed that was planted of what a just transition is in the terms of climate change.